people will notice the pain building and escalating for a certain period of time, and then after so many years, they just stop noticing it. The pain doesn't get any worse in their minds, right?
Right. And again, we kind of talked about that yesterday, how the mind gets kind of that repetitive data and it just kind of blanks it out, so to speak.
Okay, Rougish writes that they are 34, mostly lower back pain, for quite a few years. They can confirm about the chronic pain eventually fading, but still very present. Rogish, if you wouldn't mind telling us what sort of remedies you've tried over the years to bring yourself some relief, like movement remedies, or like try to take ibuprofen or Tylenol or whatever else it is. If you wouldn't mind, Rogish has something to say. I've tried to stay away from Tylenol, but some days it's pretty bad. I have seen a chiropractor. They did take x-rays, found it didn't help the way I needed, probably bad habits and bad education. Massage definitely helped in the short term, but again, bad posture kicked in. Okay. I know you talked about the Tylenol and that kind of stuff, but do you try to do forward bends with it? Do you work out at the gym, or do you have like a home gym or whatever else? I have been stretching a lot, trying to pop my back when it gets especially bad. Usually it feels like I have a sort of a 2x4 across my back laying across my hips. So without seeing it and without really knowing much about it, I will just say that what I run into commonly, right? And if this helps, then great. So let me get at the passive one, and then you go for the active relief. Is that cool?
Sounds good.
Okay. So Rogish, since you mentioned the 2x4, let's just go with that analogy. John, if you wouldn't mind, pick up that stick. And what I'm going to get you to do is take it horizontally behind your elbows, or yeah, like behind your back, and crook it with your elbows. Now go ahead and turn around. Now all we did was take this imaginary 2x4 that you are experiencing and move it up the back, right? So right about where this is placed is about where this muscle called your iliocostalis lumborum terminates. And it's a significant contributor to postural efforts in your back. It starts at the low back, kind of sits on the crest of the hip bone, starts basically around there, and then goes up and not far below your shoulder blades. It kind of fans up and out. And so it sits below your shoulder blade, not deep to your rib cage, but below the shoulder blade, and sort of fans out. And if I'm only getting John to use the stick there so that you can see about what level that would be at. If you want to palpate that, you got a lacrosse ball or any kind of a hard round object like that, and put it up against the wall, and then in that area, lower than the shoulder blade, right? Lower than the shoulder blade, and then only about 2-inch maximum roll toward the arm, 2 inches max, which if you imagine it as about a centimeter, when you're doing it, it'll equal about 2 inches. If you roll that and you find that translates down into your low back pain, then chances are that your iliocostalis lumborum is a significant contributor to that. That would be the passive relief that you would go for with it. John, you want to take it away on the active relief?
Engaging serratus anterior. I guess the easiest way, let me see if I got somewhere. Use this weight rack. The one way I would kind of focus, I guess you would be standing up, finding little hip hinge just a little low for me. Countertop or kitchen island or something about it would be more ideally about a little below the chest height, right?
Okay.
So from here, I'm just going to kind of squat down to help demo. So what we're going to think about is, again, pressing those shoulders down with straight arms, almost like you're trying to like vault over something, if you will. We're going to press and feel like a Superman chest lifting up and trying to feel activity kind of in this underarm. It's not so much the lat, but have you ever seen like a Arnold or some big bodybuilder and they look like their muscles or their ribs have muscles? That's what we're getting after, that little area right there. And they help kind of pull your shoulder blades down and around for you. And so I would, again, get you a little hinge and then press elbows in and down, feeling your chest lift. And holding that for about 20, 30 seconds. And then get yourself relaxed. And kind of what you were saying earlier for the other, kind of mimicking that as well, or pairing that up for about 3 to 4 rounds.
And several times of that throughout the day, right?
And it's like we said in other episodes too, right? Once the pain's gone, The symptoms are still there.
Yep.
Pain is the last to show, and it's going to be the first to go once we start doing things the right way.
Right. That diaphragmatic lift, that imagining, pressing down with the hands and then lifting your diaphragm, chest up through the shoulders, right? That does a couple of things at once, right? That lengthens into the abs, also trains the muscles in the iliocostalis lumborum and the other erectors to sit at a more posturally neutral expression.
Mm-hmm.
If I may add to that one, a great way for you to do that if you're sitting down, right? And a fantastic way to train it all is postural muscles. You can attack a lot of it at once, right? So all the same stuff. Hands on a desk, for instance. Press those hands down so the shoulders come away from your ears. Lift your diaphragm up through the shoulders. Squeeze the pointy parts of your elbows toward the floor, and then lift your chest. Once you do that, try and lift your feet up off the floor. Don't actually lift the feet. Imagine that you're trying to lighten the load on the feet, and you'll feel your abs get a lengthened activation, right, instead of a shortened activation like they normally experience. So that you have a passive relief system with the lacrosse ball, right? And remember, get it into your brain like it's a centimeter kind of a roll back and forth, and so that way it'll be about 2 inches. And then do the active one that John was talking about, and do that one while you're standing up. And if it's available to you, you can also do it sitting down. Oh, Rougish writes, "Thanks, guys. You're very welcome, and thank you so much for the engagement."